Imagine a world where the greatest history book ever written was not just a collection of facts but a testament to pain, courage, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Over 2,000 years ago, during the powerful Han Dynasty in China, a man named Sima Qian was given a monumental task, one that would shape the way generations understood their past. His job was simple in theory but enormous in practice: to record the story of his world, to capture the essence of an entire civilization. Sima Qian didn't just write about emperors and generals. He looked beyond the palace walls, into the lives of commoners, farmers, merchants, and dreamers. He wanted to preserve not only the triumphs of the powerful, but also the hopes, struggles, and daily lives of ordinary people. He chronicled the epic battles that shaped dynasties, the legends whispered from one generation to the next, and the mistakes that brought even the mightiest rulers to their knees. For Sima Qian, every story mattered. No detail was too small, no voice too quiet. His masterpiece, The Records of the Grand Historian, became a 130-chapter epic, China's very first comprehensive history book. It was a work of staggering ambition, weaving together the stories of kings and commoners, victories and defeats, myths and realities. But in Sima Qian's world, telling the truth was never safe. History, after all, is dangerous when it challenges those in power. When Sima Qian bravely defended a general who had been wrongly accused, the emperor saw it as an act of betrayal. In a society where loyalty to the throne was everything, speaking out for justice could cost you everything. The punishment was severe: imprisonment, public disgrace, and a choice so cruel it would break the spirit of most. Sima Qian was forced to choose between death and a life of humiliation and suffering. Many in his position would have chosen to end their lives, unable to bear the shame and isolation. The weight of dishonor in ancient China was crushing, and few could endure it. But Sima Qian made a different choice. He chose to live, to endure the pain and disgrace, because he believed his work was more important than his own suffering. He was determined to finish his book, to ensure that the truth would not be lost. Why did he do it? For Sima Qian, memory was everything. He understood that the stories of the past could shape the future, and that forgetting was the greatest tragedy of all. He once wrote, "A man has only one death. It may be as weighty as Mount Tai, or as light as a feather." These words captured his belief that a life spent in service of truth and history was a life of meaning and substance. For Sima Qian, to sacrifice for history, to endure suffering so that others might remember, was a burden as heavy as a mountain, but also a legacy that would last forever. He poured his pain, his shame, and his hope into every page. Each word was a defiance of the silence that power demanded. Each chapter was a promise that the truth would survive, no matter the cost. Despite everything, shame, pain, and loneliness, Sima Qian kept writing. He wrote through the darkest nights, his resolve unbroken, his spirit unyielding. He gave voice not just to kings and conquerors but to rebels, philosophers, and even the most ordinary folk. He believed that every person's story deserved to be told, that history belonged to everyone. Sima Qian wanted people to see the truth, not just the official story handed down by those in power. He wanted future generations to understand the complexity of their past, to learn from both the glory and the mistakes. Today, more than 2 millennia later, Sima Qian's work still shapes how China remembers its past. His Records of the Grand Historian is studied by scholars, read by students, and cherished by anyone who values the power of memory. His dedication reminds us that sometimes telling the truth is the greatest act of courage. It takes bravery to stand up for what is right, especially when the world wants you to stay silent. Stories like Sima Qian's remind us that memory is power, and that history belongs to everyone, not just the winners but also the forgotten, the silenced, and the brave. If you believe in the power of stories, and the importance of remembering those who dared to speak the truth, hit subscribe to inspire and learn. Let's continue to explore history's hidden heroes, together, because every story matters, and every voice deserves to be heard.